Hello everyone. Today let's talk about balance of power. Okay. And before we talk about the balance of power, we need to talk about power. Okay. Power is the capability or ability to influence others' behaviors or others' way of doing things. Okay. So yeah, power means commanding ability. Okay. And power, absolute power corrupts. This is a universal fact. When single person or single authority or single country have the absolute power to decide the fate of everyone, even other ills, that that's very nasty, very creepy feeling. For example, a single person decides the lives, decides the fate of everyone else living in the country or the kingdom. That's a very creepy situation. That happened during the absolute monarchy. The monarch, absolute monarch, have the absolute rights. He can decide the lives of everyone. He can take the uh, yeah. He can took the life of everyone, including those powerful ministers, nobles. If yeah, so absolute power corrupts. So there is need of balance of power. That's why we talk about power sharing. Since absolute power corrupts, we need to share power. Okay, since ancient time, power sharing is happening. During the monarchy, power is shared among the nobles, aristocratic families. Yeah, many dynasties rose and fell. Most of the dynasties rule not longer than fourth century means 400 years. Most of these dynasties did not rule longer than 400 years. Yeah, new dynasties came, old dynasties fell. So, but the aristocratic families are immortal. They lasted more than a millennia, more than 1,000 years. That happened. So this, yeah, these aristocratic families, these nobles, uh, is uh, is not good for the state, for the kingdom, because yeah, these nobles have very powerful strength, very powerful economic capability. They may hinder the development of the kingdom or the empire, but it helps in checking the power of the monarch. The monarch does not have the absolute power. The power of the kingdom is shared among other ruling class. So this power sharing in modern time, power is shared. Yeah, there is division of power, executives, legislature, judiciary. Yeah, uh, division of different organs and power sharing during the cabinet, powers shared due yeah constitution monarchy, yeah constitution democracy. So power is shared at different levels, vertical level or horizontal level. Okay, and second balance. Yeah, we have mentioned before. This power sharing is for the sole purpose of second balance. When a legislature, assembly, parliament make a law, that law can be examined, re-examined by the judiciary. Is it the law unconstitutional? If they found unconstitutional elements in a new law, judiciary can intervene and declare null and void. Okay, that happened in India in past, and struggle between old and new. Okay, in terms of macro perspective, the struggle between the countries, the kingdoms, or the struggle between the classes, social classes, is struggle between old and new. For example, from the feudalism to liberal democracy, the struggle old noble class uh, versus capitalist class. The struggle, the old monarchical dynasty fell and republics, democratic countries rose. Yeah, new capitalist class won the uh, class between these two classes, old and new, the new one. And first world war or second world war also struggle between old and new forces. Okay, old forces represented by the allied forces like Russia, Britain, France. Those are the old forces, old empires. German newly rose power like Japan, or yeah, these are the newly rose power. Yeah, they want to expand their influence. They want to new colonies. Then they have to fight against those old previously, yeah, all powerful uh, empires like British empires. So two world wars fight in the first half of the 20th century. America also, yeah, part of the Allied forces, but America is itself is also new forces. That's why after the end of the Second World War, there is Cold War period. It lasted more than 4 decades, more than 40 years, from the end of the Second World War to fall of the disintegration of Soviet Union in 1991. So this struggle, Cold War period, is nothing but struggle between old and new. America represents new ideology, new force, liberal democracy, and yeah, Soviet Union inherited the old forces, old empire. Yeah, socialism, or maybe yeah, communalism may be new idea. Marxism may be the new idea, but the empire itself is the old force. Okay, this is nothing new, except it represented leftist idea. It is old force, Soviet Union. Okay, and yeah, in this struggle to new forces one, old forces fail. Yeah, new forces idea of capitalist idea of factory industries, free trade. America represented free trade, new ideas, new technologies, all forces. Yeah, Soviet Union focus on heavy industries, the conservative trade. So in this struggle that lasted for 4 decades, USA won, new forces won. Then there is it's about a decade of US hegemony. America won, and there is scenario of USA hegemony. It lasted about 2 decades. Yes, it lasted about 2 decades. But new forces rises after the fall of Soviet Union to check and balance, for the check and balance of US hegemony. New forces arises. Yeah, during the US hegemony that lasted for 2 decades, these new forces, yeah, included, uh, people call it multipolar war, but not no multipolar war. Yeah, there was a tendency of multipolar war during this period of US hegemony 2 decades. Yeah, many third world countries or developing countries represented it. multipolar world, this powerful process, and the, and many, yeah, even the unwanted terrorist forces also represented a source of power that fight against US hegemony. For example, yeah, it is unwanted. Terrorists are highly unwanted. We had terrorists, but they also processes represent, okay. But after the 2 decades of US hegemony, new forces rose in the East, China. Okay, now China is also represented all. Yeah, China is reform, adopted a policy. Yeah, many reforms, but that itself is reform. It's like just like changing new clothes. It inherited their long civilization historical traditions inheritance in their bones. So the old Confucianist ideas, and yeah, the old Confucianist ideas absorb communalism, Marxism, and liberal free trade economy. Now Chinese communalism, Chinese Communist Party in China, or Chinese communalism is a different Chinese version of good, not Marxism, not Soviet Union version of communalism. This is different, all new version of Chinese good. So even though it has absorbed many new ideas, China itself represented all, yeah, all society, all civilization, and America is new world, new civilization, and this is also struggle, still struggle of all and new, and its struggle will continue. Okay, it is like Chinese yin and yang, positive, negative. So this is, okay, this second balance struggle all and new is natural law. Yeah, power second balance of power is itself is a natural law. Yeah, natural physics law. By nature, everything in nature wants to maintain a equilibrium. That's why uh, water flows down from the high places to low places. Yeah, wind blows from low pressure, yeah, high pressure area to low pressure area. Yeah, all these things, natural phenomena, are part of this maintaining equilibrium, balance of power. So this is natural law. We cannot fight against it. Even if USA want to maintain its hegemony, it cannot. Now new power arises to balance the US hegemony. Now China rose. Now China, we cannot deny now that China has the power to balance against USA. Chinese economy is strong. China has a huge population, huge human resources, huge market. So yeah, China is a superpower now, not power less than USA. Okay, so this struggle of all and new will continue in the future. Okay, we cannot expect what will happen in the future, even if civilization fail, this new dynasty or new power fell, another power rose. Okay, as I mentioned before, when we study a power, a dynasty never lasted no longer than 400 years. And USA power is USA came to power independence in 1776. There is the 18th century, 19th century, 20th century, 21st century. So 21st century is yeah, is the fourth century of USA. So we cannot predict what will happen in the future, but yeah, you get the idea. So USA may fail in the future, and new power will rise to maintain power against China. It may be India because of the huge population. Yeah, if we fully develop the Indian population, full, then yeah, will be huge resources, huge power. That's why, yeah, all these political economics thinkers or yeah, politicians, economists are focusing on India and India and her partner, other developing countries. Those also have huge population bases. Okay, that's enough for balance of power. What we need to know is balance of power itself is a natural law, so it will always happen, even if there will be no room for absolute authority or absolute power. An- Another force always will rise to maintain the balance. Okay.